call this meeting to order. 6:01, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we don't have any minutes to approve, and there's nobody from the public for public speak time. That isn't anything on our agenda.
Wow.
Because we have you guys on our agenda. So why don't we'll start with you. Since,
Okay.
And look, we got more. Oh, maybe we do have some public speak time. Do we have some public speak time? Oh, what are you here for tonight?
Just checking up on you.
Oh, that's good. Gotta keep us honest.
Is there anything on zoning going on tonight?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yes. There's a little bit of a. Let me get myself off the table here. I mean, if you guys want, you can let us know. You can start.
Sure.
Tell us your thing.
Okay, so I'm Samantha Vi. I'm representing the Primos for request to amend zoning of 119 through 121 Main Street.
Okay.
It's currently as an R5, which we were unaware of when we first rented the property. We'd like to make it a barber shop, and if you go on East Hampton's GIS, it is still listed as DB.
Right.
And their tax card, if you were to print it out right now, it still says zoned as DB. So we thought we did our due diligence
Right.
in order to make sure that it was able to put,
A barbershop there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, we ran into problems. We met with the planner. She said in 2009 they requested it to be removed from DB and go down to an R5 because they wanted to put a tenant in the downstairs floor.
Oh,
And your
that's
zoning,
why they did it?
Yeah, your zoning regulations say that you can't have a tenant on the same level as a barbershop, say. You can have
But there's an antique shop that was in there before me.
well,
Right.
other businesses is allowable under an R5. But what we're
Right.
wondering is if we can go back from an R5 to a DB.
Yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, I have no problem with that at all, and it makes sense because it's downtown. The only thing that's not fortuitous is that the process is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so we'll do. I don't. You're not gonna get hung up in our committee. We'll move this right away because there's no reason for this to get hung up. So, but it still needs to go to planning board. So they meet on Tuesday, the second and fourth Tuesday usually.
Okay, so August will be our next meeting.
I'm not. Their summer might be a little different. So, but Jessica, she'll be able to. She's always with the planning. And then since it's a zone change, we have to meet. We'll have a public hearing together.
Yep. Yeah.
So
And hopefully that can be done by the
I don't
end of
think
August.
this. None of us are going to try to hang you up.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. It's too bad that it's listed on there and that we couldn't just
Yeah.
flip a switch and fix
That'd be
it.
good, yeah.
But we'll do what we can to make it go quickly. We'll try to. I mean,
Glad we found out when we did.
Yeah, I know.
That one got
Well, I saw that.
that.
I saw that you guys had already put some improvements in there,
Yeah.
and that stinks to find this out after you've already made those things. So yeah, but as far as this committee's concerned, we'll try to get it moved as quickly as I can. Any thoughts from you, Tamara?
Just for the 119 to 121, is that where the cozy
cat
primitive?
the
that
cozy
where
cat primitives
There was
was.
an
Okay.
antique shop.
And there was an
prior.
antique shop.
Alright,
And
yeah, so it's
got a
already
big
got
window.
the storefront and
Yeah.
everything. It's just been rezoned. Okay.
And it had historically been downtown business,
Yeah.
and then
They changed it.
It changed. Yeah.
And however, if you go onto East Hampton's
This is
GIS, it's still zoned as DB. If
Yeah.
you pull up the property assessment card,
Uh-huh.
so I mean,
That's how we rented
why
it.
we.
Yeah.
Because it said
Said on the.
Taylor had the card, and we looked it up too, it said DB.
Mhm.
Taylor had the card, when Ben came down, they said it was R3 or something.
R5.
R5.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Not good.
I know, and right now, we are also one of the things we're looking at in this committee is we're looking at changing the definitions of home occupations. So once that changes, that's going to be a case by case basis, basically. So you could potentially have our barbershop in R5 potentially once we get that passed. But that's on the same track as it's actually a little slower than the track you guys are on. So
So what kind of timeline do you think realistically that I could have it open?
All right, so
Planning board, then joint, and then it goes back to city council.
yeah, so then it comes back to us for a vote. So we'd probably, if you guys can get to planning board at their next meeting,
Yep.
Yes.
hopefully that's soon. And then we can schedule. It has to be 2 weeks advertised
Yep.
for the joint public hearing.
And now, do they take care of that and just bill us?
No, they
or
don't.
do
You
we
don't.
need
You
to
don't
do
have to pay for that for
Okay.
the advertising.
Yeah.
No, even though I don't know. Jessica said she didn't have any money in her budget to advertise.
Well, I've gone through this
Yeah.
multiple times, and we have to pay.
So maybe
the city in order for them to.
there
post
might
it.
be some fee
Yeah,
involved.
that's I was just
not
wondering,
my-
just notice of abutters, I've done that before where I send out the letters to notice
Okay,
of abutters.
Jessica usually does the
But
notice.
yeah, that's what I was pretty sure that notice to abutters goes out from the city.
Yeah, and I'm sure the butters.
So when you advertise it, anybody can show up and vote against it?
No,
No,
anybody can
it's
show up and
public.
just make their opinion known.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the people, basically the people that are going to vote is going to be the ordinance subcommittee, myself, Tamara, and Nathan, who can't make it tonight, and then the planning board. We're together, and then the planning board basically will give a recommendation to the full council. We'll give our recommendation to the full council. The full council has the ultimate say, which is where you guys were last
Okay.
Wednesday. And I've been on the council for 10 years. There's no way this won't go through.
Thank you.
They're reasonable. We want to encourage business in East Hampton. Like we're not.
We have multiple buildings in East Hampton too.
Yeah. So we're trying to.
Promote it?
Yeah. So we want to be friendly, and I wish there was a way that we could expedite the process.
No, it's fine.
Because
I'm
of
just
the.
happy that it'll work, because
Yeah,
for the
it'll work.
longest time I was terrified that this whole thing that I've been playing out for a while was just going to fall apart.
No. We should be able to make this. We should be able to make this work. It's just the timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully the timing will work out, and you can, get it done before September.
Now,
Okay.
my last question would be, do we need to go to the planning board to request to be on their agenda, or from the city council meeting last week?
When we put it on ours, it automatically went to
Automatically
theirs.
Great.
So.
That's just what I wanted to double
And
check.
so you just need to check with Jessica to see when their next meeting is, and
That's
I would
fine.
just say go, let them know what's going on, and let them know that the ordinance subcommittee is willing to have the joint public hearing as soon as possible. We have one.
Next week, I saw that.
28th.
Or 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
From today.
So
Yeah.
it's
We
it's
need
2
to
weeks
end
from
the business.
today.
I know.
Which
It's
is
unfortunate
too
we
bad
couldn't have
because we
made it,
could
but-
have doubled up on that one.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry about that.
but it's all right. But we could. I wouldn't be opposed to having one the following week. So
Yeah, I'm fine with
you
that
know.
too.
Unfortunately, I don't think the planning board, I mean, from what I looked, they
Yeah,
don't
they
have
don't
any agendas scheduled yet.
No, but the good news, it depends on how flexible the members are. We're flexible.
Yeah.
We'll come the week after, but they might be flexible.
Yeah.
It's, they're pretty reasonable as well.
Yeah, all right, well, we won't take up too much of your time. I know you have some other agenda items to
We
get
got
to.
a couple more.
Thank you so much for your
Thanks.
time. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
hopefully we can get this moving for you
Yeah,
guys.
thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Take care.
I will see you again soon.
Do you have all the people?
Okay, so now you know what I've realized? I forgot to move the fire stuff at our last meeting because we don't need a public hearing for it.
I saw that on the agenda. I'm like, oh, it's coming up again.
I was like, oh, what the heck? Yeah. So I need to be reminded at our August meeting to move that fire thing because it's such a simple. And I just spaced it because I was not thinking clearly. So now, the only thing, Jessica's not going to be here tonight, so I'm going to hold off on the zoning thing that she did with all the signs.
Okay.
But you got the email with all her changes, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just, for our next meeting, let's review that and make sure when Jessica comes. I'm thinking that if we are, I would like to coordinate maybe so we can get Nathan to come in. So we're the 15th today, right? Next week is the 27th. The following week, we have the 28th. Maybe we can schedule a meeting before or after that joint public meeting with the planning board since we have to come in anyway.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I don't
Okay.
really have anything going on that day.
Okay, cool. So I'll check with Nathan,
Okay.
and I need to set a reminder for myself, otherwise I will not do that. Ordinance.
Still in work.
I think we're at 6 p.m. with the planning. So
Yeah.
maybe we could go like 6:30 for us.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And reminder. Alright, my phone's gonna die. Okay. Save. Beautiful. Alright, so what is this? Is this old? Where am I? Okay, so we need to this CPA stuff as well. That's one of the things that we need to move.
Oh, yeah.
I need to get this over here.
Let me just pull up my agenda really quick.
Okay. God, my folder fell and everything just like went everywhere, so all my stuff is jumbled.
How often do they give you, when I first came onto city council, I had like an updated, they gave me a book with all the ordinances and everything. Does that update every 2 years automatically, or do you need to request that?
We are supposed to do it.
Okay.
I haven't updated my, I have like loose leaf
Yeah.
updates from the last the first 2 years I was awesome.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe even the first 4 years, but yeah, I have not been very good at doing that. But I have them all in there.
Yeah.
I just, alright, where is my CPA thing? We went over that last time, and it seemed like it was pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask, the only thing I'm gonna ask is for Dan Hagan to come in to our meeting
Yep.
and give us his take, since he's our representative on the CPA.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that would give us some good perspective. And then, think. That's not in there. We got our official zoning map.
Mm-hmm.
That's on our agenda, right?
Yes, but where did you get that map? Because I didn't,
It was in my box.
okay, I didn't receive an official zoning map in my box,
Oh,
so I don't.
this one?
Unless it's right here. No, I never received the actual map,
Okay.
so I'm not prepared
So,
to go over that
That's fine.
tonight.
I can, let me just put a reminder on here to have Barbara get you a packet.
Okay. It's so weird the way some things are forwarded electronically, some
I
are put in your
know.
box, some just.
I wish it was all electronic, so then you could just
Yeah,
search
me
for
too.
it like whenever.
Me too.
Okay. I mean, we could, before we go, I could also make you a copy. Go upstairs and get
Okay.
you a copy.
Mhm.
Now, I think the only thing that needs to happen for the over quota is we have language for it. We just need to make a determination how many we want to go for.
I wanted to talk more about that
Okay.
because I did a lot of research with nearby towns and everything just to see how over quotas have been done in different areas.
Uh-huh.
And it seems to me that if we look at the development of East Hampton as a city and where some of our primary target areas are to increase business right now,
Mhm.
the mills are a really targeted area to get more
Absolutely.
businesses in there. Where I
Absolutely.
think with Cottage Street to have suddenly a bunch of very small restaurants competing with the existing restaurants there, I see that being more problematic. So I'd really recommend that we have more of an incentive that these liquor licenses would be available for businesses in certain areas of the city that we're looking to expand upon.
Absolutely.
Particularly on Union Street, where
Yeah.
we're kind of faced with what are we going to do to beautify
Right.
the space and connect the cultural district with Main Street,
Main Street, yeah.
and then with
Mills.
the mills.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think that's something that we could, as we moved forward, we could make recommendations to the licensing board, because ultimately they have the authority of who gets it. We could just say preference should be, from our perspective, preference should be given to these target areas. I don't know if we can actually. We might be able to write it into the legislative proposal.
I think we should be able to. I know they just did that in Holyoke with the Hills. They were trying to get more businesses into the Hills of Holyoke, so they just released 10 or 15 licenses specifically for that neighborhood.
for that area. Huh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look, do you know how many Holyoke went for? Because that's the thing, we've been talking about it forever. Is going
Yeah.
for, I think it was the first one that came to us, which was the massage school.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first over quota, and at that time we were like, well, maybe we should just go for 5 or 6.
Oh,
or
with
something.
the art bar there?
Yeah, the art bar. And we're like, in that way we don't have to deal with it. And then next was this guy that lives on Chapman Ave, and he got one for his he has like a bed and breakfast.
Uh-huh.
And then we got one for Popcorn Noir. We got one for Riff's little place, the Hideaway.
Yep.
And we got one for Casey for Galaxy.
Yep.
So we've done like a whole bunch of them now, and it just every time it takes that process. That's why I think it makes sense to go for a bulk, so that way the licensing board can just be like, as they come up,
I agree, but there are some other things that I think we should consider. I know, for example, the license that Casey sold to the owner of Eastworks.
Yeah.
He just paid $30,000 to have that. So I know that the over quota licenses cannot be transferred
Not
in the
transferable.
same way.
Right.
And I'm just wondering how many licenses do we have under quota? With
Like the normal
Yeah.
system. I know that number. I think it was 15.
all right, because that would make sense according to what she had put here, where it's the on-premise license
Yeah.
is a unit for each 1,000 persons, and with a minimum of 14, and then an additional 1 unit for every 10,000 persons. Obviously, that's very specific language. But there's also the whole farmer's pour license issue, and so when we look at how many total liquor licenses of all different types in East Hampton, I would just like a better handle on that. I'd like to understand whether or not a business could use a liquor license as collateral to get more money from the bank, and whether or not that would be a good reason to encourage the liquor license in certain areas of town, particularly in the mills where there would have to be a lot of renovation. If that could encourage people to have more renovation because they'll be able to get more funding with the liquor license.
That's good. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I know my thought is that if you have a liquor license, it's gonna increase your revenue.
Yeah.
If your revenue increases, then there's a good chance that you're gonna have more equity and more, ability to leverage money. But there was a big debate. There was a big debate when we did the first one because Casey had just bought that liquor license for Apollo Grill, and he was upset. But the under quota liquor license has a lot more flexibility.
Yeah.
So it is worth more because you can move it, you can transfer it. It's it doesn't have any restrictions on it. And the legislative ones are very strict as far as.
And that's, I think, I just want to become more educated with the value of the licenses in terms of getting loans and everything. Because if there is no collateral from having one of the legislative license, then that also works to make sure that people who have paid money to get yes, you have this license,
Right.
but here are some of the benefits you get from that license that you wouldn't get with an overquota license.
Exactly. And then, you know, I mean, for them, and this is the way it played out, was you know, it's like anytime you purchase anything, you're taking a risk.
Right.
And, you know, and it was, at this point, you know, I think the reason why Northampton, Holyoke, all these other communities are going for legislative licenses is because it is an engine to drive economic growth.
Yeah.
You know, and it gives the city more tools to help do that. So yeah, I would say, you know, there's no reason that we need to move very quickly on this necessarily. So, but I think it would be good for us to also figure out a number, you know, like to be in line with the other towns, and also check with the license board to see what they are thinking. You know, so because I think they're the one that is going to be giving it out,
Yeah.
because they're so I mean, you're familiar with the process, right? So we go for it, and then they come to if we get it through the legislative act, and then it comes back to the city, and it goes to the licensing board. So it's out of our hands completely at that point. And then the licensing board decides where it goes.
Right.
But I guess we can put probably some restrictions on that, which makes sense. So cool. Now I'm trying to find my other current agenda. And I feel like we got something else on our agenda last time, and I don't remember what it was.
My attachment is not downloading.
Oh, let's see, my phone's about to die, so. Let's see if we can figure
I remember the fire code.
Yep, so that's ready to go.
The occupation.
Home occupation, that's pretty close, but we need Jessica.
Can never remember the initials. CPA fund.
Oh, CPA.
And then there was the fire thing. And then there was the
zoning map.
The zoning map.
And then the signs.
The
talk
signs,
about
yeah.
that?
No.
Is there going to be a public meeting on the zoning map again, or is that?
This, we just got it. So we just got this at our last meeting. So we're going to have a bunch of meetings on this, I imagine.
Okay.
And I imagine if we're getting this, planning board's getting it as well. And so, why do you want to take a look at it?
Do you mind?
No,
I don't want to.
feel free. We just got it. I imagine that you're interested in
Just curious.
the highway business, maybe?
We could use a couple of licenses on Northampton Street. One time we had Outback Steakhouse interested.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, have they figured this out yet?
These are all just. Yeah, go ahead. You can go ahead and look through that. My phone just shut down for me. So I don't know if we're going to.
All right. Well, what was I going to say? You had said you need to make sure something gets on to the next that moves forward.
Oh, I
it's
just the fire thing. Yeah, I just need reminded that I need to move that at the next meeting, because it's just like it's one of those things that's such a no-brainer. Like it's changing 3 letters of the.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
It really is. Yeah.
Okay.
So our next full
Bye.
meeting is the 5th.
Our next
So,
August 5th.
I mean, yeah, full council.
Yeah, I believe so. I
I'll
don't
just
have
write
a calendar.
reminder.
Yeah, just remind me.
Move fire wording. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, here's the CPA one. Yeah. So this was moved to the full council. 6/24, June 24th. Oh, we already voted on this. God, I'm on top of it. we voted to move the CPA to the full council.
Oh, okay.
So that's another one that you can remind me to move forward. I don't. We might need to have a public hearing on that. So I'll just set it. I just need to set the public hearing on that one. But I don't need to set the public hearing on this one. And so our next meeting will be the 28th with the joint public hearing with the planning board, and then we'll try to meet afterwards.
Yep.
Sounds good to me. Do you have any other
Good.
stuff that we need to work on?
No,
All
I'm
right,
good.
let's adjourn this.
Adjourned.
So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.